You're probably wondering, is the iPhone 15 Pro Max still worth your money? Well, after using it extensively and capturing everything on this beast, I've got some thoughts. And trust me, this isn't just another review. We're diving into real-world use, hidden features, Apple Intelligence updates, future-proofing, and a lot more. The first thing you'll notice and immediately love is that titanium frame. It's not just a spec sheet upgrade, you feel it the second you pick it up. Apple shaved off just enough weight to make it noticeably lighter than the stainless steel Pros of the past, but without sacrificing that premium, dense feel. It's like holding a luxury phone, but never bulky. Compared to older Pros, the balance is perfect now. No more top-heavy wobble when using it one-handed, no more pinky fatigue after long browsing sessions. It just nails the ergonomics. Apple didn't go crazy with a total redesign, and honestly, that's a good thing. Instead, they refined every tiny detail to make this the most polished Pro Max. The slightly contoured edges melt into your palm, so the sharp, flat sides of the 12 to 14 Pros don't dig in anymore. The frosted back glass isn't just for looks, it's way more grippy and hides fingerprints like a champ. And that curved front glass? It's subtle, but swiping in from the edges feels buttery now. No more harsh transition from screen to frame. But here's the real kicker. This is the most comfortable Pro Max ever to hold. And yeah, I'm saying that knowing how chunky the 13 and 14 Pro Max felt. Apple finally cracked the code, big screen, Pro specs, and a design that doesn't punish your hands. If you've avoided Pro Max models before because they felt like bricks, the 15 Pro Max might just change your mind. Let's talk about this 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR display. Because even in 2025, it's still one of the best mobile screens money can buy. The ProMotion 120Hz refresh rate makes everything feel buttery smooth, whether you're scrolling through Instagram, swiping between home screens, or playing high frame rate games. It's the kind of upgrade that ruins other phones for you. Once you've used it, 60 Hz just feels choppy in comparison. And the brightness? 2000 nits peak outdoors, that's insane. Even under direct sunlight, this thing stays crisp and readable, no squinting, no awkwardly cupping your hand over the screen. HDR content absolutely pops too, with deep blacks and vibrant highlights that make movies and games look next level. Watching Netflix, the contrast is so good, dark scenes in Stranger Things actually feel cinematic. Editing videos in Dolby Vision, the color accuracy is studio monitor levels of precise. Gaming is where this panel really flexes. Fast-paced titles, no ghosting, no blur, just pure responsiveness. And thanks to Apple's True Tone MP3 wide color, everything stays natural looking, whether you're in a dimly lit room or outside at noon. Honestly, the only thing Apple could improve at this point is power efficiency. The processor already does wonders with battery life, but imagine if this display sipped even less juice during marathon sessions. That said, it's already a masterpiece. No compromises, no weaknesses, just pure visual bliss. Alright, let's talk about the camera system, because this year, Apple finally delivered that 5x telephoto zoom we've been begging for, and holy crap, it's actually legit. We're talking crisp detail even at full zoom, rock-solid stabilization, no shaky mess like some Android phones, and Apple's signature color science keeping everything natural, no oversaturated nonsense. It's not just a gimmick, it's a real tool for framing shots the way you want. Then there's the 48-megapixel main sensor, which now shoots 24 megapixel by default, and that's a genius move. You get way more sharpness and detail than the old 12-megapixel shots, but without the massive file sizes of full 48-megapixel photos. It's the perfect middle ground for people who want pro-level quality without drowning in storage issues. The cinematic mode, night mode, and macro have all gotten subtle but meaningful upgrades. Cinematic mode's depth tracking is scarily accurate now, no weird blurring around hair or fast-moving subjects. Night mode, even darker scenes look clean, not just brightened with a bunch of noise. And macro shots are stupidly sharp. Like, why would you ever need a dedicated macro lens sharp? But here's my favorite update, the way the camera intelligently picks focal lengths. It feels like swapping between prime lenses on a real camera, not just digital cropping. It's so intuitive, and it makes composing shots way more creative. And if you're a content creator, buckle up. Shooting ProRes or log footage on this thing is a game changer. The dynamic range is nuts, and the ability to record directly to an SSD means you're not stuck with the phone's storage limits. This isn't just a phone camera anymore. It's a legit filmmaking tool that fits in your pocket. Let's talk about the A17 Pro chip, because this isn't just another incremental upgrade. This is Apple's first 3nm processor, and it's a monster. We're talking more power, better efficiency, and most excitingly, real console-level gaming on a phone. The GPU, 20% faster than last year. The CPU, 10% faster, with even better single-core performance, which, by the way, still embarrasses most laptops. And the neural engine, double the speed for machine learning tasks. This thing chews through everything from heavy video edits to AI-powered photo tricks like it's nothing. But here's the wildest part, it doesn't even break a sweat. Play Resident Evil for an hour and the phone gets warm, not hot. No throttling, no lag, just smooth, sustained performance. That's the magic of 3nm efficiency. Is it overkill for texting and Instagram? Absolutely, but that's the point. This chip is future-proofed for years. iOS updates, Pro apps, next-gen AR. It'll handle it all. And for gamers? This is the closest thing to a Switch Pro we've ever gotten. So yeah, this chip is unmatched, and honestly, it's kinda scary how far ahead Apple is right now. After weeks of testing, here's the real deal. 7 to 8 hours of screen time is totally doable with normal use, social media, emails, some camera work, maybe even a gaming session. Here's where things get wild. iOS 18's Apple Intelligence isn't just another AI gimmick, it's on-device smarts powered by A17 Pro. The 15 Pro Max isn't just a phone, it's a pocket studio, a gaming beast, and now an AI powerhouse. Right now, it's still the complete package, best-in-class cameras, USB-C freedom, and a ticket to Apple's AI future. If you've been waiting, stop, this is the one. Hit like if this helped, and share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.